So now, even with a ratings board, games are still getting banned and altered here in Australia. Why even have a rating system? Honestly. Question of this video, do you think that a rating system should cover all games, or should games still have the ability to be banned? That's a serious question. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do we need a rating system? What's the point otherwise, right? Now, the reason that I ask this question is because here in Australia, we have a game that is causing controversy, DayZ. A game that now Studio Bohemia is altering so that Australia doesn't miss out. A game that caused issues and was essentially banned for Australians, but not around the world. It was rated here in Australia at MA15+, which basically means practically adults, okay? If you're pretty much an adult, that's the intended audience of this game, which is fine, right? But for whatever reason, the Australian Ratings Board didn't see fit to increase that rating from MA15+ to R18+. But why? They didn't like one of the ways to replenish health. This is what happens, ladies and gentlemen. One of the options to restore health, I'll explain this right now for you, is a marijuana joint, okay? Instead of saying or making a public statement denouncing the idea or promotion of cannabis as a substance that can heal, and then they could have decided to state that the game is actually intended for adults only. Look, and this is something that might have impacted sales, just so we're all aware. Although GTA 5 was rated R and made $1 billion before it was even released, but whatever. You know, we're not going to talk about that one, right? So I don't understand why they couldn't just make a statement, denounce selling drugs and using marijuana to heal. Unless there's some fact or truth behind that. I wonder why. Anyways, now for some reason, it's almost like the ratings don't matter anymore, right? And please, believe me when I say that I understand why they may not want this game to be available for children in Australia. That makes 100% sense, right? We don't want our kids growing up thinking that drugs are acceptable, yada yada, blah blah blah, all that crap, you guys know the drill, okay? But why be afraid of them altogether? And why not just acknowledge the fact that this substance is in the game, right? And then use it as a way to teach children about the substance if they ask questions, right? Why not put out a statement through the news, which is fear-mongering media, we all know this crap, right? But saying that these are in the game, so if you see this game or you see a child thinking about playing this game, perhaps maybe we shy away from having them play the game and tell them that we don't want them. As parents, you are, if you're a parent of a child, able to stop your child from playing the game, right? Instead of stopping the game from being available to Australians in its original form. Why shy away from that, right? Why not embrace the controversy and use it to teach younger Australians, that's let's say 12 to 16, 17, 18-year-olds, what drugs are, how they're bad, and how the game may not actually reflect reality, unless of course it does somehow reflect reality. I don't know. Maybe there's something there that we should explore as an avenue, right? But this is obviously way too difficult for us here in Australia, right? This is too much for the Australian Ratings Board to handle. This is where the buck stops, right? We'll have games where you can kill other people, right? Point blank, with basically whatever weapon you want, right? I showed this in a video from last week where basically the whole video was me running around killing people, okay? It wasn't difficult to do, and this is a game that's available in Australia. But drugs, no, drugs are bad. And let's just put in that quote there from South Park with Mr. Mackey, okay?
Now, as I was saying, drugs are bad. You shouldn't do drugs. If you do them, you're bad. Because drugs are bad, okay? It's a bad thing to do drugs, so don't be bad by doing drugs, okay? That'd be bad. Drugs are bad. Okay?
This is ridiculous. Why even have ratings if we're not going to use them, right? Why have ratings, Australia, if we're gonna flat out just gonna ban games anyway? What's the point of having a rating system? It actually makes no sense to me. It's ridiculous is what it is. But this is where we're going, right? And don't get me wrong, by the way, this is not me giving hate to Australia or the Australian gaming community. I honestly think that the gaming community as a whole out here in Australia is incredible. Generally, the standards that we have for games is acceptable. Generally, and it works well. Honestly, and this is not me showing any hate to Australia, I love Australia. This is a great country to be a part of, right? But when we have people that obviously probably don't even play these games rating them or banning them, that's when we have a problem, right? We get these fringe games, these little things that happen and up in the air, or here we go, everyone loses their minds, right? And the game gets banned. Or in the case of DayZ, we have a company working to completely change the game, right? And when I say completely, I mean that they're just taking out that feature in the game, right? In order to make it accessible for Australians. But they're changing their original view for the game. Why would you need to do that? Essentially what you're doing, Bohemia, you're doing gaming right, okay? Our ratings board, you're rating games wrong. You're doing this the wrong way, right? Bohemia is basically giving up their original vision for the game in order to satisfy the Australian criteria, which should already be satisfied with an R18 plus rating, mind you, just so we're all aware. And yes, this is a bit of a rant, but this is a necessary rant so that the ratings board in Australia can understand that this is ridiculous. What's the point of having ratings if you guys are not going to make games accessible? Even if they're rated what they should be rated, it does not make sense unless someone made a stupid decision originally and rated it MA15 plus, but then I don't understand why you can't just change it to R18 plus. That doesn't make any sense to me. You guys have made games available for adults. There are games where you can go out and get prostitutes, but taking drugs, that's the limit. That's the line we're going to stop at. And like I said already, I understand why drugs should not be accessible for children in games. But if we make the game R18 plus, then it should not be being purchased by children. Right? Parents that see their children with games that are R18 plus and still allow them to play it, that's your prerogative. By all means, you're allowed to do that. But the government shouldn't be able to stop you from doing that if you want your children to play whatever game they want to play. That's the thing that's where the buck stops, right? Once you guys in the Australian Ratings Board make the game R18 plus, then whatever happens, happens. It is not your fault. You've already suggested that the game is for adults only. That is how it works. And that's the end of this little rant, by the way, guys. If you did enjoy this video, let me know what you think. Do you think that we should have drugs in our games or not? And that's the real question here, right? Regardless of the rating, considering that the game was flat out banned essentially, what do you guys reckon? Do you think that drugs are acceptable in your video games or not? Let me know down below. Do everything that is nice. If you want to share or spread the word about this video, share it on Facebook, share wherever you want. Click that like button. I think that also helps. And definitely comment down below. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed this and you want to hear more like this. Consider that then, and check out some other videos on the channel. If you enjoyed this one, you may potentially like another one. Until next time though, guys, spread some peace, spread some love, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.